Okay, the British Virgin Islands probably sends out more offshore corporations, LLCs, than probably any country in the world. And when you're on the top like that, you're always going to have a lot of regulators that are trying to, make changes, usually for the bad in as far as privacy, offshore type of asset protection. But I want to give you some pointers. They just made some changes on these corporations. And if you're thinking about setting up a corporation, you need to have some sort of background on this. And I'm going to give you some pointers on maybe another type that you can look at and why. And I'll go over that with you. But this is a place that probably more people, I know that they do more offshore corporations than LLCs any place in the world. Anyway, the British Virgin Islands now, they've got actions that of changes to the business companies regime. And the British Virgin Islands, also called the BVI government, they've introduced changes to the BVI business companies regime in a bid to boost its reputation as an international financial services center. The BVI Business Companies Amendment Act of 2024, it was revised with the governor's assent and was gazetted on the 26th of September 2024, including covering changes in relation to beneficial ownership, nominee shareholders, the register of members, and the register of directors. Now, in this, I'm also going to tell you more about how they're going to change maybe not just the asset protection, but your privacy in this. And you need to have some sort of background on this, because if you're shopping for IBCs, then you need to know something about privacy, what sort of laws are coming into effect, because it can save you a lot of money. Because when you set these things up and you start putting houses and other type of properties, you start putting stuff like your assets in this, it is very difficult. It didn't used to be, but it's very difficult to get the money out. And in a lot of cases, if you got properties in there, you're going to have to sell the properties to get them out. Or if you don't sell the properties, if you do a transfer, most countries will view that as a sale. And you could have a capital gains tax or stamp duty. So when you put properties in one of these entities, you need to make sure that's going to be in there for good, or at least for a long period of time, because otherwise you're going to end up wasting a lot of money and time trying to get that thing out. And you can pay a lot of money in taxes too. It didn't used to be this way as far as a lot of these changes, but now they're really making a lot of changes in this. But in a briefing note on the 1st of October, law firm Morant said that the amendment has not been come out in force yet. The key changes that the Amendment Act will make to the British Virgin Islands Business Companies Act, revised edition 2020, once in force, are set out below, which I'm going to go over with you. Now, they're expecting the Amendment Act to come into force imminently, and will issue a further update at that time. Also, folks, if you can do us a big favor, we don't monetize this channel. If you can hit the subscribe button right on your screen right here, and also give us a thumbs up if you like the video, and also pass this video on to your friends if you would. It will help in the algorithm of our channel, and it will get us more out there to the public, and it will help us because we don't ask for money on this or our channel here, and we don't monetize it. So, this is how we can grow with our channel if you can help us out there. All right, now every company will be required to keep a register of members, and except for certain exceptions, like a copy with the British Virgin Islands Register of Corporate Affairs, which is the registrar. Although the copy register of members maintained by the register will be available to domestic competent authorities and law enforcement agencies in the lawful discharge of their responsibilities, in addition to the company and its register agent, it will not be generally available to the public, which is good. So they're keeping that privacy still in force. And it looks like you're still going to, any nosy bodies are going to still have to go through through basically the courts to get anything. Now, Morant said that the company may still opt for a register of members, including any negotiations as may be typically included on finance transactions where security has been granted over the company's shares to be public accessible. Now, the register of members will be required to contain an appropriate for the company. These following things I'm going to go over with you. So it's important that you know this. The names and addresses of the persons who are actually holding registered shares in the company, the names and addresses of the persons who are guarantee members of the company, the names and addresses of persons who are unlimited members of the company, and then you got the number of each class and series of registered shares held by each shareholder, including, unless already set out in the company's memorandum or articles, the nature of associated voting rights. Now, also you have to keep in mind, you're going to have to keep the date on which the name of each member was entered into the register of members and the date on which any person ceased to be a member. Now, the beneficial owner is defined as, in the case of a legal person, other than a listed company, a natural person who ultimately owns or controls directly or indirectly 10% or more of the shares or voting rights in the legal person, holds or directly or indirectly the right to appoint or remove a majority of the board of directors of the legal person, or otherwise exercises control over the management of the legal person, and in the case of a limited partnership, a natural person who is ultimately entitled to or controls directly or indirectly 10% or more share of the capital or profits of the partnership, or 10% or more of voting rights in the partnership, or otherwise exercises control over the management of the partnership. In the case of a trust, the trustee, the settlor, or other person by whom the trust is made, the protector of any, the beneficiaries or class of beneficiaries with a vested interest in the trust at any time or before distribution of any trust property or income, and any other natural person exercising ultimate effective control over the trust, including through a chain of control and ownership. Now, I'm going to tell you what I think is a better choice that's not doing a lot of these, that's not, whenever you're climbing up a flagpole, your butt is staring everybody in the face and everybody wanting to take you down. This is the problem you have when you're going with a country that probably sells more IBCs than any place in the world. I'll tell you a place has a lot less, you don't have any filing requirements. Now, I'm assuming you're not a U.S. citizen or U.S. resident, or you live in a country that taxes worldwide income to its residents. If that's the case, then you do have filing requirements, okay? If you're not in that situation, you're not a U.S. citizen, not a U.S. resident, and you're not with or living in a country that taxes worldwide income, then one place that you could go and set up an offshore company is the only place I know that's left, and that is Samoa. They don't even have a filing requirement that you have to do through the registered agent. Every single offshore company now has a filing requirement, at least with the registered agent, where you have to turn in paperwork and stuff like that. Samoa doesn't even have that. Now, they could change in 6 months or a year. I'm just telling you for right now. And they don't have a taxing requirement. There's no taxes you got to file in that corporation. Again, I'm assuming you're not a citizen or resident of the U.S., and you're not from living in a high tax country that, or even low tax country that taxes worldwide income, where you're going to have to divulge the ownership and other types of tax requirements if it's a Samoa company. Like I said, that's why we here at Citizenship Quickly, we try to show you ways of getting tied up with countries where you don't have these requirements. We can show you how to do that, okay? So if you want to get into countries that don't have these requirements, that either have territorial tax systems, that have either pure tax haven statuses or non-dom type programs, like Ireland, Cyprus, places like Barbados, then if you really want to get your taxes down low, you want to be looking at places like this. And of course, I like actually pure tax haven statuses and also pure territorial tax systems better than I do non-dom programs. There's just a lot less stuff you got to deal with. But that being said, Samoa falls in line there because, again, you don't have these filing requirements with Samoa as far as taxes. You don't have to file a tax return. You don't have to turn in papers to your registered agent as far as contracts and stuff like this. Not so with Seychelles anymore. They used to be like that. Belize used to be like that, but not anymore. They've caved in, and now there's filing requirements. You got to turn in stuff to your registered agent. It's a lot of work. It depends on the type of business you're in, but it can be a real hassle. So if you want to learn more on this, so go to our website, www.citizenshipquickly.com, if you want to legally get around high income taxes or how to get a second passport as quick as 4 to 8 months. And folks, again, we don't monetize the station. So if you can help us out, hit the subscribe button, the right screen right here. You get new videos automatically as they come out. And again, give us a thumbs up if you like the video, and we can get the algorithm better in the channel, and these videos can get out to more people. And I'll look forward to talking to you on the next video. Take care.